Good evening, I am Coach Esperancer of the Dallas Staryu, and this is the Week 9 Team Builder video for our match against the Toronto Staraptors. Now, we handily beat the Toronto Staraptors the first time in Week 2, however, this is a team that is on the cusp of elimination from the playoffs, and they are going to be bringing their all. Furthermore, throughout the season, the Toronto Staraptors actually picked up a few acquisitions which are a little bit scary. However, nothing that really covered their weaknesses. And in fact, it actually gave them more weaknesses. So first, let's get into their team. They have Mega Altaria, Scissor, Thunderous Incarnate, Chansey, Crobat, which is a new acquisition, Vaporeon, Braviary, Clawitzer, which they've been using quite effectively since they got it, Shiftry, and Torkoal. Now, with their new acquisitions, they have 4 weaknesses against electric type moves with no switch-ins, other than Mega Altaria, or of course Chansey if it's special. They still have 4 weaknesses against rock type attacks, and they have 5 weaknesses against ice type attacks, and very few switch-ins for all of these. So I am going to take advantage of that this week to try to catch some things super effectively and break down their walls, especially the Chansey Vaporeon core, which I expect. Now, they do not have Cofagrigus anymore, and they don't have Reuniclus. They had that for a few weeks, and they traded that away. So I do not have to worry about Trick Room at all. So I don't have to worry about any of those shenanigans. So I'm not even going to bring Hydreigon. So first, let's get into what I think we're going to see. I think we're definitely going to see the Chansey Vaporeon core for the wall core. And I don't think he's going to let me stack hazards against him so easily. So either Scissor or Crobat, or possibly both. Crobat would be useful to him because it will outspeed everything on my team that's not Scarfed. I do think Mega Altaria is going to come, and I don't think he's going to let it go down to a Poison Jab or Sludge Wave from Nidoking so easily this time. And I do believe that Thunderous Incarnate is definitely coming. So I'm able to narrow down quite well what I think he's going to bring, and we'll see if I'm right. Torkoal is a good switch into Mega Pinsir, and he could potentially bring that. I don't think we see Shiftry. We could see Clawitzer. It might be Scarfed. Same thing with Braviary. If Braviary comes, I believe it will be Scarfed. But I think it's going to be Mega Altaria, Scissor, Thunderous, Chansey, Vaporeon, and the last one, possibly Crobat, but it could be any of those other things as well. So let's go into how I'm going to prepare. So I'm not going to do the hazard stacking thing that I did last time. I'm actually going to go straight off on offense. So let's start off with Sir Dick Pinch here. Sir Dick Pinch is running a very similar set as last time. In fact, I think it's the exact same Mega Pinsir I ran the first time, with Return, Quick Attack, Substitute, and Swords Dance. And I'm not running Close Combat because Return is still a 2-hit KO and almost does as much as Close Combat to Chansey. So I'm just going to stick with Return and Quick Attack. Toronto's only switch-ins are Thunderous Incarnate and Torkoal, and if I set up a substitute, I can do a tremendous amount of damage on those. But I do have to watch out for things like Prankster, Thunder Wave, and really just outspeeding and hitting a Thunderbolt. And I'm not really going to be able to out-prioritize with Quick Attack, so I could potentially get Thunder Wave, and then I Quick Attack where I get fully parried, and that would not be a good thing. So I have to play around the Thunderous Incarnate. But otherwise, I can do quite a lot of work. Even against Crobat, a defensive Crobat Quick Attack will still do 27%, so if I can get my own rocks up and I can wear down that Crobat enough, I can outspeed it with Quick Attack. I do have to be careful though, because until I Mega Evolve, I'm not going to be able to enjoy the speed boost, and a lot of things will outspeed me with the set. However, I think we're going to be fine. So moving on is Emboar. We did not bring this the first time. I am bringing a Choice Banded Emboar yet again, because Choice Banded Emboar is able to 1 or 2-hit KO everything on Toronto's team. Especially Head Smash. Head Smash in particular. But I don't really want to Head Smash a Chansey unless it's worn down quite a lot. because Chansey has so much HP that would do way too much damage to recoil. However, if I can wear down the Chansey or straight up kill it, then Head Smash will one-hit KO half of Toronto's team and two-hit KO the other half. For example, Thunderous, Shiftry, Klotzer, and Crobat are all O-code. So is Torkoal. Torkoal's O-code. An offensive Mega Altaria does 80%, and a Cotton Guard Mega Altaria will do 59% of its maximum defense before it sets up any Cotton Guards. And, even if it sets up one Cotton Guard, I'll be able to do a lot of damage to it before it can roost up. Offensive Scissor, it does 91%. Defensive Scissor, it does 65%. That's a 2-hit KO. Vaporeon, it does 66%. Chansey, it does 64%, but I don't really want to take all that recoil. Head Smash does a lot of work if I can connect with it and I can hit something really hard, potentially on a switch, and I bring it in on Chansey that's low on health, and I can hit it very hard. Wild Charge, believe it or not, will not OHKO Vaporeon, but it will do 79%. Wild Charge, even with all my opponent's electric weaknesses, is actually not my best play in most cases, because Torkoal's neutral and Torkoal's so defensive, it's only going to do 31%. Chansey, it only does 39% because it's neutral. Altaria is resisted, so it's 30%. And defensive Scissor, it's also neutral, 39%. But everything else, it will 1 or 2 hit KO, and that could potentially come in handy. Sucker Punch is their priority. With the band, it does a lot of damage. In fact, there's a lot of things that it does 40% to, if I can hit those. And then Superpower will OHKO any kind of Chansey with the Choice Band. With the Choice Scarf, it will not. With the Choice Band, it will. And it will also 2-hit KO Vaporeon even after the attack drop, as well as defensive Scissor. It will also 2-hit KO defensive Scissor even with the attack drop. Everything else, it does a tremendous amount of damage. Even Thunderous, it does 70%. Crobat is probably his best switch-in, or even Mega Altaria to Superpower. Torkoal's also not bad, but I can do a lot of damage to Torkoal before it takes me down, and I don't think Torkoal has too much that can hit me. So, we're going to see how this pans out. Now, with my spread, I have 128 in HP, 252 maximum attack, and 128 in speed. And the idea behind the speed EVs is that I can outspeed Crobat with the Tailwind setup. And I am running Tailwind on Zeppelin this week, so that could potentially come in clutch. So we'll see. Rounding out my offensive core is Elvis the Nidoking. And it is timid with 286 total in speed, 216 EVs, 252 in attack, 252 in special attack, and 40 in HP. With Sludge Wave, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Flamethrower. This gives me coverage that I need to hit my opponent's entire team, and with the Life Orb I will do the maximum damage possible. In fact, Nidoking here is also capable of 1 or 2 hit KOing everything on Toronto's team as long as I pick correct coverage moves. But I do have to watch out because Thunderous can hit me with Psychic, and Crobat does outspeed, and if it's Choice Banded Brave Bat, that's not going to do as much as I would like because I do not have the best defense in the world, and I'm relatively uninvested. Next up, we have Zeppelin. Zeppelin is going to be my Scarfer this week. We are running the offensive Choice Scarf Zeppelin, and it has just enough EVs to outspeed a normal Crobat, even if it's Jolly, with maximum speed. With my Scarf. So I have Volt Switch, I have Discharge for the paralysis chance because I could potentially paralyze a few potential Scarfers. It also does quite a number of damage. Hidden Power Ice because I do want to take advantage of Toronto's 5 Ice-type weaknesses. And Tailwind. Now, the dirty little secret is Thunderous actually, Hidden Power Ice does just as much damage as Discharge does. Because Discharge is neutral, Hidden Power Ice is super effective, but it's less base power. However, it could potentially hit other coverage things on Toronto's team. The Tailwind is mostly there as an emergency measure if, for example, Mega Altaria gets a Dragon Dance set up, and I need to set up a Tailwind, let it kill me, and then something else can scare out the Mega Altaria or straight up kill it, then I'll do that. Also, Tailwind, if I bring in Emboar afterwards, that would be downright scary because I'll be able to outspeed everything, including the Crobat, and hit things with very hard head smashes, Flare Blitz. Actually, I'm not running Flare Blitz. Superpowers, Wild Charges. There's a number of things I can do there. Next up, we have my defensive core, and that's going to be Klefki and Cobalion this week. With Klefki, we are running a specially defensive set with Play Rough, Thunder Wave, Toxic, and Switcheroo. And my goal is to Switcheroo the Iron Ball onto Thundurus. However, I will also be happy putting it on Crobat. What the Iron Ball does is it grounds the Pokemon that's holding it, and it also halves its speed. So if I get the Iron Ball on Thundurus, then I will be able to outspeed it with things like Nidoking and hit it with Earth Power, and that will be super effective. It would also allow me to out-prioritize with Mega Pinsir's Quick Attack if it comes down to that. But I do have to watch out because Prankster's Thunder Wave can still give Toronto the momentum. We're running both the Thunder Wave and the Toxic. I can Thunder Wave things like Crobat or Braviary or Mega Altaria or anything that I think is Scarfed, and I can Toxic things like Chansey and the Vaporeon. Furthermore, if I do end up switcherooing defensive Crobat and I take his Black Sludge, I can switcheroo the Black Sludge back onto Chansey or Vaporeon again. That would be a little dirty, I think, but I could potentially do that. And since I'm Steel type, I'm not really going to be... actually, I don't think I'm going to be damaged to the poison. I think it's a different kind, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And Play Rough will do 50% to Mega Altaria, so I have it mostly for that. Finally, we have Cobalion with Leftovers, and it's running max HP, enough speed to outspeed the base 80s, as long as they're not Scarfed, and 124 in defense with the bold nature. I'm sorry, with the lax nature, because I'm running both Close Combat, which will 2-hit KO Chansey, and Volt Switch for momentum, Hidden Power Fire, which 2-hit KO Scissor, and Stealth Rocks, because that would be good up to get up to wear down Thundurus. So that is my team for this week. It's not too pivotal anymore. I haven't clinched the playoffs yet. If I win tonight, I will. If I lose, I need to make sure I don't lose by 5 or 6. But for Toronto, it's absolutely must win for them. They have to beat me. They have to hope that Philadelphia loses this week. Then they have to win next week and hope that Philadelphia loses again to be able to inch their way into the playoffs. I could also potentially be out of the playoffs if they 5 or 6-0 me and I lose against UCLA next week. So we're going to see how this works out. But I am Coach Esplancer, a new Staryu is rising, and I will see you this weekend for Sunday Night Pokemon as we face off in another Clash of the Stars. Leave any comments down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more.